I grew up in Canada, so when I first came to mainland China, my Mandarin was so bad. I could barely understand half of what people were telling me. I had confidence issues responding back. And I want to share some tips that help me as a Canadian get better acquainted with Chinese culture and communications and language. I want to say, first of all, I did not go to Chinese class or take Chinese lessons. Maybe I was procrastinating. I never ended up doing that. But I still got to the point today where my Mandarin is a lot more fluent and I can understand 95 to 100% of what people are saying. The big shift, it's immersion. My first couple years in China, I deliberately avoided hanging out just with other foreigners. I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to just stop speaking English all the time. There's a part of me that was nervous through all this, but the biggest level up to my listening was just having some basic ability. And if you don't have the basic ability, you have to possibly go to class or take lessons to get to an elementary level of proficiency. But once you have that, you got to just practice. I worked jobs where I had to communicate with my colleagues and they would try to communicate back to me in English because they were considerate, but I would just force myself to speak Mandarin all the time. And that kind of worked. Another thing that was super clutch for me when I spent my early years in Beijing was I had a lot of discussions with taxi drivers. Taxi drivers love chatting, especially when they learned that I was Canadian, where I was originally from Taiwan. They love just chatting about things. And I find that they have been great practice partners for having conversations. And it's kind of fun because you just don't know where the conversation is going. It's also kind of a bonus because not all taxi drivers pronounce Mandarin perfectly because they have different dialects. And it's also a way to level up my listening through picking up accents and things like that. I think those are the three things. Number one is create a friend circle of locals and try to avoid hanging out with just foreigners. Number two, practice a lot wherever you are on the street, in a taxi, or in work situations. And number three, keep an open mind. Language is a slow and steady thing, at least for me. It took me years and years to get out of where I was at the very beginning, but it's super rewarding. I'm a lot more confident stepping through life in China now. In a way, this also applies if you are trying to learn a new local language anywhere. I think you just have to be unafraid to look stupid and just practice a darn lot and you'll get there.